So as far as the personal development, self-development, and then spirituality, and combining all those modalities, one of the most important things in the practices that I have come across, and I emphasize that in my own practice often, is to convince your subconscious mind. So the subconscious conviction. So subconscious conviction, I found, is the most important practice to become the conscious creator over our own life. Now, many people talk about meditation, visualization, journaling, gratitude. Yes, gratitude is a practice to become one with source, because that energy, that expansion, that feeling that you're fully full is the energy of gratitude. And by doing so, we're connecting with this infinite intelligence that exists. But then if we want to proactively and deliberately become the creator, the conscious creator of our own desire, manifesting in the 3D physical form, subconscious conviction is one of the most important practice, the awareness that we must cultivate. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about the mechanism of the mind and the subconscious mind, and then why subconscious conviction is the key to own our energetics and to be able to be the core participant and the creator of our own life. So we talk about the mind, right? And the self is only in our mind. So the view of how we see ourselves lives only in our mind. So the identity of how you see you, who you think you are, doesn't exist in the outside, right? And many people look at the mirror or camera in photo and think that the visual representation, the body, is you, but that is just a reflection and manifestation. Yeah, and the idea of what you think about you and how you see you only lives in the mind. So how you see others, how others actually sees you, is different from how you see yourself. Now, the image that you hold about you in your own mind is called the concept of self, or you can call it self-image. The image of you in the world, how you see you in this context in the 3D world. And the body is your subconscious mind, the mind exists, and the body is your subconscious mind. And the language of the body subconscious is called feeling. So when you have an image of you, what kind of image do you have? Do you have an image that is strong, decisive? Do you have an image of you that is sensitive? Do you have an image of you that is very compassionate? Do you have an image of you that is very healthy or good in something, or not good in something? Do you have an image of you in your mind that is confident? Now, let's think of somebody who you admire or somebody who you like, very, very like, right? What is the image that you have within yourself about them that is different from how you see you? And then if you see them and you differently, why? And how do you see differently? All those ideas lives only in our own mind. And that image of us that we have is going to correspond to the subconscious body called feeling. Sometimes called this, people call self-esteem, the worthiness, sense of worthiness that we have, right? How we feel about ourselves in this world. And that worthiness often is constructed through our childhood experience and all the past, present experience that we have had. We have different things that we felt good about ourselves. We have different experiences that we didn't feel too good about ourselves. We saw somebody doing something and we started to compare. Many people have this sense of inferiority, like a feeling less than, and that comes from the sense of worthiness that we have constructed, right? And I found that the mind body is two-way street. So you have the image of you and that becomes a feeling about you. But if you have the feeling about you and constantly living from that place, the effect of what that feeling goes, where that feeling goes, is your pattern thinking. So you start thinking in a way that means the same as the feeling that you're vibrating out. And the feeling that you are holding about you and how you see and feel yourself in this world shapes your perception, how you hold the lens to see through the world, to attach meaning to something, right? So for some people, something is very expensive, but for others might not be expensive. For some people, depending on the lens and the feeling about them and how they feel, concept and the worthiness that they have, some tasks might be very easy. But for others who have struggled or don't have this sense of worthiness, might take a long time or not be able to dive in. So different image in ourselves and the feeling in us determines how we engage in this world. Yeah. Now, those are constructed through the childhood, but the very good news is that the personal development work is about changing that, right? Because the self-development is about growing to become the person that you feel excited about, right? So let's take a moment to begin visualizing what kind of life do you see in your imagination that makes you feel so excited about, right? In the area of your work that you're doing, in the area of your family and health, how you're living every single day, and then what kind of freedom do you have, like a time or the relationship or health or finance, at any area, right? And then begin imagining that. And then the moment you imagine, if you're not somebody who has been imagining, when you imagine that desire, dream, outcome, you might feel like there's a little bit of disconnect between that and how you're living right now, right? And the outside result, that life experience that we are meeting and facing on a day-to-day basis, is 100% caused by the inner feeling vibration that we hold at the subconscious level. So when we begin understanding that the cause of the outside is the inside, and then what we really want to shift is our subconscious vibration by convincing the subconscious mind that new outlook, the desired outcome. Then we begin we begin deciding to work internally. So it's very interesting because we tend to focus on the outside visual, outside sensory world. But if the outside is the mirror of the inside, the change in the outside will inevitably happen when we change our inside. So in order to change our inside, we must understand what is the inside default operating mode is currently. Yeah. So what we want to do is to begin writing all those down, right? So in order to change what we are currently experiencing, we need to learn and understand what is it that we're seeking instead, right? So we want to have the before and after, right? What is the image of you that you have right now, and what is the image of you, the self-concept of you that you want to have when you're living that exciting, uplifting life? Okay, what is the sense of worthiness that you have about you currently? And then when you are there, because we can take your mind to create somehow a little trip and imagining that life of your desire. When you're living there in your imagination, how would you be feeling about yourself? And then being having those two version of you, current version, and I don't like to call future version per se, because for a lot of people, future is something that they haven't accomplished. So the moment you start saying future, you start also almost admitting that it's not here yet, right? So the desire fulfill version and the existing version, nothing wrong with saying existing version, and the desire fulfill version that you can experience and feel also in the present moment, right? So I think one of the key is to begin letting go of this idea and notion that the future version is in the future timeline. And in order to remove that, I suggest to remove the language called future and that desire fulfill, right? So diving into that desire and diving into fulfilling that desire using your imagination and using your felt experience, sensation in your body. So pick one thing right now as you watch and listen to, and take your minds to go to the place of how you would be seeing yourself, how you would be seeing yourself. You want to have the outcome first, right? What is the outcome that you want to accomplish? And then when you are experiencing that in your mind's eyes, how would you be seeing yourself? What is the self-image? What is the concept of self in this world, right? So creating a movie in the screen of your mind, and then begin creating an emotions and feeling of how you feel to be there, how you feel to be in that self-image, how you feel to be living that desire outcome, desire life. Basically, the desire fulfilled life is the life that you feel called to create, and you feel that you are expressing yourself at the fullest level that has more room to be fuller, because there's no end to that fullness, but the fullest level that has more room to become fuller. And then you have a sense of determination, you have a sense of confidence, you have a sense of groundedness, you have a sense of peacefulness, and you are fully in touch with the invisible, the unknown, feeling very certain about. I think when we begin doing this internal work, one of the keys is to cultivate an awareness and perspective of being fully certain, feeling uncertain about it, right? How can we cultivate that certainty in this uncertain thing, because you haven't seen the evidence of sight in the outside? So when you, and then also though, this might be another YouTube video that I can possibly create, but to really redefine what reality is, right? Many people use the term, okay, the reality is this way, right? And then they refer reality as the 3D physical sensory experience, right? So if you're having a relationship issue and you have this argument or discussion or like conflict, whatever, that becomes for them the reality. But when we begin accepting ourselves, acceptance is the realization in the subconscious mind, by the way. It's different from acknowledging or recognizing. When you accept fully in your subconscious mind, it realizes, yeah. Now, when you have the 3D world, a certain situation, and then when you start or keep calling that reality, because that's what reality has been for most people, you start diminishing the power of the seed of the reality, which I see that as the real reality, which is your energetics, including your thoughts, self-concept, feeling, self-worthiness, and an image and the feeling that you can dive in to create out of nothing just from your imagination that transmute into physical form. So the seed of reality is your internal energy, and the initiation of that is your attention and shift in focus and intentionally creating that visual and the feeling. And the more you stay connected with the new version of you, the worthiness and the feeling, the emotion of the fulfillment of the desire inside, more than the outside 3D world. The inside needs to be more natural, almost forgetting that the outside, in the outside, the thing that you want hasn't yet happened yet. This is the key. When the outside is still overriding, your mind is gonna get drift to the existing situation of lack. One of the things that we must understand is that everything that we want is something that we do not have in the physical plane just yet. That's why we want it, right? So if you already had it, you wouldn't want it. So it's kind of tricky, right? When we want to manifest and consciously manifest in the physical form, we must establish a relationship with the lack in the physical. And then when we let that lack absorb us and let us assume that it's not here, you will continue to stay in the energy of lack, and your subconscious is never gonna be convinced. That's why many people are gonna go flip back and forth between the existing reality that they think it is, the lack in that reality, and their wish in the internal state, the desire fulfilled. So it's like a playing a little attention game, mind game, where how can we begin understanding that you are always gonna be meeting the lack in the 3D physical, because just like I said, what you want is always gonna be something that you do not have. If you already had it, you wouldn't want it, right? So having a certain relationship with that 3D lack, and then learning how to suspend it and not to let that emotionalize inside. We don't want to feel that sensation energy of lack, but to meet, suspend it, and then we want to stay connected with the energy of the desire fulfilled version of us. How would you be seeing you when your desired outcome is right here with you? How would you be feeling about yourself in this world if the fulfillment of the desire is already happening? And then you want to be in the bath energy of the desire fulfilled more, longer and intensely than meeting the existing physical lack. Knowing that, and assuming that when you're there, the life is gonna create this circulation of energy, and the outside will start meeting how I am focusing on energetically inside. And it requires a little bit of skill. It requires a little bit of awareness. It requires a different kinds of lifestyle, because you're not gonna be focusing too much on what's happening in the outside. You wanna enjoy the sun, you wanna enjoy a good company, you wanna enjoy good food, you wanna enjoy all the things that makes you feel lift and uplifted. But when you see the lack, we wanna learn how to suspend it and neutralize it, and use that encounter to help you dive deeper into the fulfillment of the desire and cultivate, nurture, and nourish that feeling inside. And when you're there long enough, intense enough, you start going to this sort of like almost hypnosis, right? Hypnosis, but almost like you're tricking your mind to forget that it wasn't here, right? And that's the level of intensity, the level of commitment, level of dedication that you want to immerse yourself. You want to immerse yourself with that fulfillment of the desire energy being there as long as you're able to be able to feel that it's already done. So subconscious conviction is this feeling that it's already done. And this is the beautiful and very sacred place. In the spiritual plane, everything that we desire is already created. So if you desire something, it means that the potentiality of the manifestation has already been established in the spiritual plane. So by being that energy of fulfillment of the desire, we are actually aligning the mind, the psychology and emotion, the thinking and feeling to what's already being created. And when the two meet, you will experience a complete oneness of the level of the mind and the level of the soul, and you feel so good, so good, expansive and light and effortless, and things flowing. That is the mode of flow that many athletes talk about, right? Being in the flow, because your energy is aligned fully with your desire and what's already being created in the spiritual plane. And the manifestation in the physical form is going to happen automatically because you're in that subconscious vibration. So convincing your subconscious mind is one of the most important things to become the conscious creator of your own life. And I want you to stay connected and dedicated and determined to and with being in that energy, and not let the outside circumstance get in the way, but continue to stay in that worthiness, continue to stay in that concept of you that is fulfilling your desired outcome. So if you have any question, comment below. If you know anybody who you think that would benefit from this video, please share. And I hope that was helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next video.